Governance Now has launched Reflect, a series of roundtable discussions on thematic issues in the area of e-governance. Every fortnight, we will invite a group of e-governance experts, practitioners and service providers to jam on the theme issue of our governance section. This, we hope, will enrich the contents by adding a wide perspective to the issue on hand. The first Reflect Roundtable was organized at our office on March 23 around the topic Cloud Computing for Public Sector. At the high table were S. Ramasamy, Executive Director, Indian Oil Corporation; Golak Kumar Simli, Principal Consultant and Head Technology, Passport Seva Project, Ministry of External Affairs; Neeraj Prakash, Director, Public Sector Marketing, Microsoft India; Kamlakar Kaul, Executive Director, TCIL; Gautam Kapoor, Senior Manager, Deloitte India; Vikas Kanungo, Founder, Society for Promotion of E-Governance; and Rajiv Ranjan Singh, Assistant Professor, Delhi University. The roundtable was moderated by Sami Sachdeva, Senior Editor, Governance Now. The inaugural Reflect was sponsored by Microsoft. Let's hear from the experts what they have to say on cloud computing for the public sector.
We are seeing that for the next 5 years, the cloud is looking at a much higher amount of adoption. One of the surveys which were conducted globally, 50% of the people, that's the average, said we want to adopt cloud. So if that kind of materializes, you can see a significant uptake in terms of moving infrastructure to cloud. Given that fact, we're also seeing a lot of small and medium enterprise who want to leapfrog, entire revolution itself, because they don't want to, put their money in expensive infrastructure. They want to straight away move to what is already available, that is subscribe to cloud, both as infrastructure as service or software as a service or platform as a service. So I think the next 5 years is going to be very key for the cloud services, both for public and private. We're seeing significant uptake around that.
See, cloud computing, I think basically it's evolving. I think a lot of concerns and challenges which we see papers and all, they will be resolved one by one. See, what we are trying to do at our organization is, we are talking to people and taking applications, we are talking to partners and getting their application on our system and giving the services to people. So we wanted basically get those applications to people and see what happens and then solve the problem. We have done one experiment. We saw that there is a lot of interest from the public sector and government. Probably being the government organization, they see some level of security from the data security point of view. They feel little secure because the data is the government organization. But we see, and I think even in next year we see a few applications which we are trying to get into cloud. So we are looking at getting application on the cloud or getting application as software as a service and then taking to the people, taking that as a service to people, and then whenever the security or other data quality challenges are coming in, then we will resolve them as they come.
So, starting from that, you said that about cloud computing. So, first of all, as we know that there has to be a distinction between whatever we go for anything. Cloud computing has the distinct difference in being delivered as a service rather than the product. So, the whole focus is on delivery of service. We are not talking about product because the whole implementation part is opaque from the user, and that's the beauty of it. That you don't have to worry. Just like you are getting electricity in your home, you don't worry about from which grid it is coming from. You are only talking about that it should come 24/7, and that's more important. Whether it is coming. So in the same way, whether the service is coming through wired media, through wireless media, on TV, on the mobile. So this cloud basically has the potential to talk about something that we started talking and then left. You must have heard something about convergence of technologies in 95. And then somehow between 2004 and 2008, it moved away. Now it is again back in focus. The credit goes to cloud computing.
Complex systems. Hardly there. I can tell her we have taken almost maybe 1 year, more than a year to make service provider like the today which is joining hand with us in the Passport Seva project to make them completely realize the complexities of the government processes. under the password issuing system. In fact, we delayed the project for almost 1.5 years just because they didn't understand the business logic entirely and simply started writing the application. We had to recode the entire
They must have tried to convince you of their logic.
So I'll just take half a minute. So this is exactly the problem that we are trying to address through cloud services. Where we are not leaving it to the vagaries of system implementers and people who may not understand the domain very clearly to do every pass of the same service implementation. What we are trying to do is we are trying to have primary stake by government and a secondary stake by the vendors to come together, put a solution which is shareable. And therefore it is not left to every department to do that, because the capacity does not exist. And I would not even say capacity is there, but that's not the core job that they are hired for. And that's exactly the kind of problem that the cloud services can resolve. And I'll just take another 10 seconds is connecting with what Professor Rajiv was saying is in terms of first fixing the 3-tier architecture and then moving on the cloud. I mean, my view is that from a technology point of view, you don't have to learn every step to move on to a higher level of technology. So there is a legacy system that is at a certain level of maturity. There is another technology which exists, which comes and which can interoperate with your legacy system, and you can run with that. The point here is that now with cloud services, what you're trying to do is you're only trying to bring in the user element within the department and leave the rest of the complexity to the implementation.
Just to correct myself, I'm not talking of 3-tier technology. I'm talking of the users who are presently on 3-tier. Just train those users and motivate those users so that they become better users.
That's it. See, actually, there's a lot of discussion there happened. So I'll go back to this electronic service delivery model. So I'll add some more areas which could help in pushing for cloud computing. One is the fiber to panchayat, which is happening. So by 2014, the fiber to panchayat. That is one. Second is, now the projects are moving to states, and states I think spread is large. So trying to deploy is a major issue. See, what happens is, we take a project, maybe it is done at one place, a pilot is successful, but from pilot to rollout is a major effort, and sometimes I think there are delays. So that will again probably push for cloud computing. These are 2 points. Second is, the existing traditional e-governance drivers, whichever are in common, probably there may be some reluctance to change. Okay. So, the cloud may have to come from maybe outside that. Say, maybe a line ministry taking it up, maybe agriculture department taking it up, or some other, which becomes a sort of a case study or a successful model, and then these traditional e-governance drivers get into peer pressure to replicate that. I think that is.
Another point, which I would like to highlight would be the accessibility part of it. When talking about cloud-based services, then if they are G2G, then it's a different, this thing would be a private cloud. But if we're talking about citizen services, the accessibility, given the fact that it is a very low penetration outside our cities of computer-based network, so the accessibility to mobile devices is a major thing which you would have to keep in mind while doing a cloud, and there through a kind of a system which is OS agnostic or the device agnostic for that matter. Until you build that kind of a cloud-based infrastructure, it will still remain the people who have smartphones and laptops who can access government services. If you're talking about cloud being used to provide public services to say majority of people, say for example NHRM project or NREGA project, then the accessibility part, I think you won't have to rely on computers to be the delivery channels. You will have to look at the mobile devices and do your solution in such a way that they can be delivered even on a featured phone which is what we're working on the mobile governance policy. I mean, we had a huge debate on whether to include a laptop in the definition of mobile government, which we finally did not be included because we're talking about always on location-based services for the rural people through a feature phone. So let's keep a mobile as a mobile in the.
I think
I also like to join with you. This is very important for business like us because we are a large customer base. We take about LPG alone, more than about 6 crores of customers. Also, today we talk about cloud. When we talk about internet technology, the accessibility is very important factor. Today, if you look at Northeast, even in Andaman Nicobar, these places, even we don't have good accessibility at all. Even with our own infrastructure, things are not working. So when we think of being cloud-based, probably government has to take care of these particular places. Where we are talking about cities and urban areas, it's okay, but here it's a really an issue. And second thing is, even when we want to go on cloud-based, the technology-wise, the user experience is going to be a dramatic change. For example, we have our own network. We have more than about 630 VSATs, we have more than about 800 MPLS, we have our own communication. If we want to go into the cloud infrastructure, the user experience is going to be totally changed because we are going to give a limited bandwidth. We cannot give it the extremely very large bandwidth. Then all my application has been tuned. Today we talk about so much about technology, but this area is a nation. It is yet to come. When you really want to implement these things, we need to rewrite our programs to make low bandwidth consumption. I think these are the issues probably we need to concentrate, not only the government, but the technology solution people like that. They should concentrate that how we do it for India as a whole. The inclusive of everybody should be there, not only for city. That's the important factor I want to
From a technology point of view, what's really happening is that the focus is on ensuring that you deliver cloud solutions, which can be either on a public domain or a private domain or a hybrid domain. So irrespective of whether it's a private cloud implementation or a public cloud implementation or somewhere in between, irrespective of that, you are able to seamlessly deliver the service across all platforms or across all kinds of devices. That's something that that we are convinced about in these solutions because of their open standards and the capability to interoperate, including interoperation with whatever OS that you will be talking about. So that proposition already exists, where the experience on consuming a service on a featured phone or a smartphone or a tablet or a computer remains seamless with a similar user interface. Because I mean, in your case, accessibility may be because of the remoteness. In the example that he's talking about, accessibility could be an issue because of the knowledge. Because in your case, there are lots of consumers who are knowledgeable, but because they are remote, they are not able to connect.
But that's a fact of life.
Which is a fact of life. So what I'm saying is, so it's not about the delivery on the mobile phone, which is certainly a very important factor because the growth there is far exceeding the growth on, let's say, a laptop.
No, but there is something called behavioral computing, right? So that takes care of this thing. Even if somebody does not understand the menus and sub-menus, there are symbols and people can work on, people can overcome.
Exactly, the solution should require the end user not to be an ICT expert, but just digitally literate. He knows how to use it.
I would like to talk about one feature for this whole cloud computing training. You see, National Knowledge Network Connectivity is a project by Ministry of HRD. Now, what they are saying is that HRD now has a plan to have uniform syllabus for, let's say, 12th or for graduation all across India for all the universities. So they are in the process of e-content delivery, so that if the content is common, there can be uniformity to a certain extent. I think it can be a very good pilot for the cloud, so that we can put our content on the cloud and everybody can download it. Because even if there are certain hindrances, there are always textbooks and other modes available to fall back on. So I mean, it won't affect the day-to-day working. But in academics, as an academician, I feel that this whole university collaboration and through National Knowledge Network connectivity, if it can be put on the whole content, whether it is a video lecture or a simple text or photo or anything, if it can be put on cloud, it will be a very useful pilot project for.
Rajiv, you have a point here, but other side I want to also caution on this investment which is happening from government side, which we are actually deliberating. Today, if you ask me, we have a infrastructure like state data center, we have an infrastructure like state wide area network, we have an infrastructure like national data center, we have an infrastructure like coming infrastructure.
This is a comment I made right in the beginning.
Let me please. Then national knowledge network is coming. We have already, sir was telling, we have already, I think, made a wonderful mistake with CSC. There is no revenue model there. Right? I should admit that. Now, I am saying these are the already heavy invested infrastructure. I can bet none of these infrastructure even 10% utilized today.
Yes, that's absolutely.
Now, I am from the government side, I am looking for another infrastructure. I am saying there are technology available, there are services available. Why do you utilize your existing infrastructure first and then go on for looking for another investment?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The cloud can help us, which I am talking in various forums, protect my existing investment, be it STC, be it SWAN, be it like sir was saying, very good point. I will say there are legacy software, there are legacy applications, there are legacy data which I have realized how difficult it is to deal with. Neeraj, if you see from outside, it looks easy that it will seamlessly integrate, but the practical part of it is not. Let me put it very clearly. The practical part is it is not. It's easy to say, but when you start working on that, it takes us it's a kind of a nightmare to make that available on another platform. That is one side of it. Moving it from the existing to the cloud-like environment. It's easy.
That's the pitfall of adherence with standards in the legacy system. So that's where the pitfall arises.
Let me two, 3 points. So one is that. So one has to be caution there, very caution there. I mean, it's not that. The other side of it is, even if you have moved, I started the discussion that I am today not ready to move all my sensitive data into those kind of environment. No, there are departments, maybe public sector, maybe government sector, maybe defense, maybe passport, all of not, which we are discussing it, the one, maybe I am not best person to do that, I will look for some other person, or which is not my job, but the one which is I am very well equipped to do, which I can manage my own, which requires a very little bit of investment, which I am very much assured of it, why should I move it to some other system, right? So that means what I am trying to say is, on the same applications, maybe some part remains inside, some part I look for the cloud provider, because that is not my day-to-day baby kind of a thing. I can afford to do that in the cloud environment, but this part I want to keep myself. Now tell me, one database lying at 2 places, same application with delivering services to the citizens or some masses. How difficult it is to deal with that kind of application. And people like public sector, people like government organization, it's not one go you can say everything will come and go. No, my business will collapse. Business will totally collapse. We are not effort to do that. I mean, we will not be taking a such calls where one day one can move. So we need to focus on the areas where I am unnecessarily investing, where I am giving more time rather to give time somewhere else, due to which overall loss of the organization, overall loss of the productivity of the person. So those kind of whether it is service or platform or infrastructure, we are ready to move to the cloud, provided other things are being taken care of. But rest will take time, unless it's not that easy to one day you move everything. And at the same time, one more point needed from your side. I mean, you need to seriously look when you OEMs like Microsoft or it is IBM or any of these OEMs or Novell or whosoever it is, either it is software or hardware side. I have seen my own practical experiences that the chain is how suddenly OEMs, system integrator, then comes your poor fellow.